Ladies and gentlemen, there are times in our lives when we feel pain so deep that it seems impossible to move forward. We experience loss, disappointment, or betrayal, and the world feels heavy, uncertain. But I want to remind you today, when life hurts, it's not the end. It's a signal, it's an invitation to heal, grow, and love yourself more deeply than ever before. Our thoughts are incredibly powerful. They are like seeds planted in the soil of our consciousness, and whatever seeds we plant, they will eventually grow. This concept is fundamental when it comes to how we experience life, especially during times of pain and hardship. When life hurts, we often feel overwhelmed, and our minds can become filled with negative thoughts. We might think, why is this happening to me? Or I'll never get through this. These thoughts arise so naturally when we're in pain that we rarely stop to question them. But the truth is, these thoughts are not only reflections of our inner state, they are also creating the reality we continue to experience. We tend to forget that our thoughts are creative forces. Every thought we think is shaping our world moment by moment. When we dwell on thoughts of fear, anger, or despair, we attract more of those feelings into our lives. Think about it. Have you ever noticed that when you're feeling bad, it's easy to find more things to feel bad about? This isn't just a coincidence, it's the law of attraction at work. Like attracts like. If we constantly focus on our pain, we draw in more pain. On the other hand, when we begin to shift our thoughts even just a little bit, we open the door to a new reality. It's important to recognize that our minds are incredibly powerful tools, but like any tool, they can be used in ways that help us or harm us. When life hurts, it's easy to let our minds run wild with negative thoughts, but this only deepens the hurt. The first step toward healing is becoming aware of the thoughts we're thinking. What are the recurring beliefs that keep surfacing when you're in pain? Are you telling yourself that things will never get better? Are you believing that you're unworthy of happiness or love? These are the kinds of thoughts that keep us stuck in cycles of pain and suffering. Awareness is the key. Once we become aware of our thoughts, we have the power to change them. But this isn't always easy. In fact, it takes practice and patience, especially when we're dealing with deep emotional pain. The mind loves its habits, and many of our thoughts are habitual. We've been thinking them for so long that we believe them without question. But we must remember that just because we think something doesn't make it true. Thoughts are not facts. They are simply ideas we have learned to accept over time, often without even realizing it. When life hurts, one of the most empowering things we can do is consciously choose new thoughts. At first, this might feel uncomfortable or even strange. After all, if we've been thinking negative thoughts for years, suddenly shifting to positive thoughts can feel unnatural. But this is where affirmations come in. Affirmations are positive statements that we repeat to ourselves in order to reprogram our minds. They work because they help to replace old, limiting beliefs with new, empowering ones. For example, if you're going through a painful breakup, your mind might be filled with thoughts like, I'll never find love again, or I'm not good enough. These thoughts only deepen your suffering. But if you start using affirmations like, I am worthy of love, I deserve to be happy, or love is always available to me, you begin to plant new seeds in your consciousness. These affirmations might not feel true at first, and that's okay. The important thing is to keep repeating them. Over time, they will begin to take root, and you'll notice that your perspective starts to shift. Changing your thoughts doesn't mean denying your feelings. It's important to acknowledge the hurt, to feel the emotions, and to process them. But at the same time, you can choose not to dwell in the negativity. You can feel the pain while still holding space for hope, healing, and the possibility of a better tomorrow. This is the balance we must find, honoring our emotions while consciously guiding our thoughts in a direction that supports our healing. One of the most beautiful aspects of recognizing the power of your thoughts is realizing that you are not a victim of circumstance. No matter what happens in life, you always have control over how you respond to it. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control your thoughts. And in doing so, you can control how you experience life. When you shift your thoughts from fear and lack to love and abundance, you begin to see opportunities where before there were only obstacles. You begin to trust that everything, even the painful experiences, is happening for your highest good. This shift in thinking requires practice. Our minds are conditioned to focus on the negative, especially when we're in pain. But with awareness and intention, we can start to train our minds to focus on the positive. One way to do this is by developing a daily practice of gratitude. Even in the midst of pain, there are always things to be grateful for. By focusing on what's good in your life, no matter how small, you begin to shift your energy. Gratitude is one of the most powerful ways to transform your thoughts and, in turn, your life. Another practice that can help is mindfulness. When we're mindful, we're present with our thoughts without getting caught up in them. We can observe our thoughts and choose which ones to engage with. This allows us to create space between our thoughts and our reactions, giving us the power to consciously choose how we want to respond to life's challenges. Ultimately, recognizing the power of your thoughts is about reclaiming your power. It's about realizing that you are not at the mercy of life's ups and downs. You have the ability to shape your reality moment by moment with the thoughts you choose to think. And when you choose thoughts that are loving, supportive, and aligned with your highest good, you create a life that reflects that love back to you. You heal, you grow, and you become stronger. And most importantly, you realize that even when life hurts, you have the power to rise above the pain and create something beautiful. When life becomes painful, our first instinct is often to run from the pain. We want to numb it, avoid it, or push it down, believing that if we don't acknowledge it, it might just go away. But here's the truth: pain doesn't disappear simply because we ignore it. In fact, the more we try to suppress it, the more it lingers, festering beneath the surface. Eventually, it finds a way to resurface, sometimes as emotional distress, physical illness, or unhealthy habits. That's why it's so important to allow ourselves to feel the pain. It may seem counterintuitive, but feeling the pain is an essential part of the healing process. One of the greatest acts of self-compassion we can offer ourselves is to honor our emotions. When life hurts, it's okay to feel sad, angry, disappointed, or scared. These feelings are natural, human responses to difficult situations. They don't make us weak, and they don't mean that something is wrong with us. In fact, acknowledging our emotions shows incredible strength. It takes courage to sit with discomfort, to face it head on, and to allow ourselves to be vulnerable. Many of us were raised to believe that showing emotion is a sign of weakness. We've been taught to stay strong or keep a stiff upper lip. While these messages may have been intended to help us cope, they often do more harm than good. Bottling up our emotions or pretending they don't exist creates internal pressure. Over time, this pressure builds, and we can start to feel disconnected from ourselves. By suppressing our emotions, we also suppress our ability to fully experience life, its joy, connection, and peace. Feeling the pain doesn't mean wallowing in it or becoming consumed by it. It simply means giving yourself permission to acknowledge what you're going through without judgment. You are allowed to feel sad when something heartbreaking happens. You are allowed to feel frustrated when things don't go as planned. You are allowed to feel scared when life feels uncertain. These emotions are part of the human experience, and they are just as valid as happiness, excitement, or peace. When we resist our emotions, we create inner conflict. We start to fight against ourselves, thinking that we shouldn't feel a certain way or that we should just get over it. But this resistance only intensifies the pain. Instead, if we lean into the emotion and give it space to be felt, we allow it to move through us naturally. Emotions are like waves, they rise and fall. If we give them the space to flow, they will eventually recede, leaving us with a sense of relief and clarity. One of the reasons we're so afraid to feel pain is that we think it will consume us. We worry that if we let ourselves fully feel, the emotion will never go away or we'll be stuck in it forever. But that's not the case. Emotions are energy, and like all energy, they need to be expressed in order to be released. When we suppress or avoid our feelings, they become trapped in our bodies, leading to tension, stress, and even physical illness. However, when we allow ourselves to truly feel the emotion, we create space for healing. It's important to create a safe space for yourself when processing painful emotions. This might mean finding a quiet place where you can be alone, journaling your thoughts, or talking to someone you trust. You don't have to go through this alone, and it's okay to ask for support if you need it. Sometimes just having someone to listen to us can make a world of difference. When we feel heard and validated, we realize that our emotions are not something to be ashamed of. They are a natural response to life's challenges. Remember that feeling pain doesn't mean you're going to stay in pain forever. Emotions are temporary, even the most intense ones. They come and go like passing weather. If you give yourself permission to feel the emotion, you allow it to pass through you, rather than letting it get stuck inside. This is how healing happens. By feeling the pain, you release it. You make room for new emotions, new experiences, and new perspectives. Sometimes we fear that if we let ourselves feel the full depth of our pain, it will confirm our worst fears about ourselves or the world. We might worry that feeling sad means we are weak, or that feeling angry means we are ungrateful. But emotions are not a reflection of our worth. They are just feelings. They are not permanent, and they don't define who we are. You can feel hurt and still be strong. You can feel sadness and still be hopeful. You can feel angry and still be kind. Your emotions are simply a part of your experience, not the entirety of who you are. Another reason it's okay to feel the pain is because it helps us understand ourselves more deeply. Our emotions are signals telling us something important about what we're going through. Pain often arises when something needs to be acknowledged, addressed, or healed. By tuning into our emotions, we can gain insight into what we truly need. Perhaps the pain is telling us that we need to set healthier boundaries, or that we need more self-care, or that we need to let go of something that no longer serves us. Pain can be a powerful teacher, guiding us toward greater self-awareness and transformation. Feeling pain is part of the healing journey, but it doesn't mean we are destined to suffer. Pain is often a sign that something is shifting, that we are growing, that old patterns are being released to make way for something new. When we allow ourselves to feel the pain, we create space for healing, growth, and renewal. It is in these moments of vulnerability that we find our strength, resilience, and capacity for love. Ultimately, it's okay to feel the pain because it's part of being human. Life is a tapestry of experiences, both joyful and painful. By embracing all of it, the highs and the lows, we become more whole. We learn to trust ourselves in the process of life. We realize that even in the midst of pain, we are capable of healing and moving forward. And as we allow ourselves to feel, we discover that we are not broken. We are simply evolving. So when life hurts, give yourself permission to feel the pain. Trust that by feeling it, you are honoring your experience and opening the door to healing. Know that you are strong enough to face your emotions, and that by doing so, you are creating space for deeper love, joy, and peace to enter your life. Pain is temporary, but the lessons and growth that come from it can last a lifetime. When life hurts, one of the first things we often lose sight of is our sense of self-worth. In the face of challenges, rejection, or heartbreak, it's easy to start questioning our value. We might think, if I were better, smarter, or more lovable, this wouldn't be happening to me. These thoughts can feel so true in the moment, but they are illusions born from pain. The truth is, your worth is not determined by your circumstances or by the opinions of others. You are inherently valuable simply because you exist. Affirming your worth, especially during difficult times, is one of the most powerful acts of self-love you can practice. Affirming your worth starts with recognizing that your value is unconditional. It does not depend on what you do, how successful you are, how others perceive you, or whether life is going smoothly. Your worth is constant. It is not something that can be given to you or taken away. This might feel hard to believe, especially when external circumstances seem to tell a different story. But your worth is intrinsic. It is woven into the fabric of who you are. You were born worthy, and nothing in this world can change that. When we go through painful experiences, we often internalize the idea that we are not good enough. If someone rejects us, we might think, I wasn't enough for them. If we fail at something, we might think, I'm not capable or smart enough. These thoughts chip away at our self-esteem, making us believe that our worth is tied to our achievements, relationships, or source circumstances. But the truth is, no failure, rejection, or hardship can diminish your worth. Your worth is not a reflection of what happens to you. It is a reflection of who you are at your core, a beautiful, unique, and irreplaceable being. Affirming your worth during tough times requires a shift in mindset. It involves moving away from external validation and reconnecting with your inner truth. External circumstances will always fluctuate. You might win or lose, succeed or fail, be praised or criticized. If your sense of self-worth is tied to these external factors, you will always feel insecure and uncertain. But when you anchor your worth in the knowledge that it comes from within, you become unshakable. No matter what life throws at you, you remain grounded in the truth that you are enough exactly as you are. One of the most effective ways to affirm your worth is through positive affirmations. Affirmations are simple, positive statements that help to rewire your thinking and challenge negative beliefs. When you're feeling unworthy, it can be powerful to repeat affirmations like, I am enough. I am worthy of love and respect. I deserve happiness and success, or my value is not defined by others. These affirmations help to remind you of your inherent worth, even when your circumstances make you feel otherwise. Over time, they can shift your mindset from one of self-doubt to one of self-love. Affirming your worth is not about ignoring or dismissing the pain you're feeling. It's about acknowledging that, even in your most vulnerable moments, you are still valuable. You don't have to be perfect to be worthy. You don't have to have it all figured out to deserve love and respect. You are allowed to make mistakes, to feel lost, to struggle and still be enough. Your worth does not depend on your ability to meet some external standard of perfection. It is rooted in your very existence, in your heart and soul. Many of us struggle with self-worth because we've been conditioned to believe that we must earn our value. Society often teaches us that we need to prove ourselves through accomplishment, success, or the approval of others. From a young age, we are praised for good grades, achievements, and meeting certain expectations. While there is nothing wrong with celebrating accomplishments, this focus on external validation can make us feel like our worth is contingent on what we do, rather than who we are. As a result, when we face failure, rejection, or hardship, we might feel like we are unworthy or inadequate. But real self-worth comes from within, not from external validation. It's about knowing that you are valuable simply because you are alive. You don't need to achieve anything, be perfect, or have everything together to be worthy of love, respect, and happiness. When you affirm your worth, you remind yourself that you are enough just as you are. This doesn't mean you stop striving for growth or improvement. It simply means that your worth is not contingent on reaching some ideal version of yourself. You are already whole and complete. Another important aspect of affirming your worth is setting healthy boundaries. When we don't feel worthy, we often allow others to treat us in ways that don't honor our value. We might settle for relationships that don't truly fulfill us, accept disrespect, or overextend ourselves in an attempt to prove our worth. But when you affirm your worth, you recognize that you deserve to be treated with kindness, respect, and love. You start to set boundaries that protect your energy and well-being. You no longer feel the need to please everyone or gain approval at the expense of your own needs and happiness. Affirming your worth also means embracing your uniqueness. So often we fall into the trap of comparing ourselves to others, thinking that we need to be like someone else to be valuable. We might believe that if we looked different, had more success, or achieved what someone else has, we would finally be enough. But your worth is not found in comparison. It is found in the realization that you are one of a kind. No one else has your unique combination of talents, strengths, and qualities. You bring something special to the world simply by being you. When you affirm your worth, you stop comparing yourself to others and start celebrating your own uniqueness. One final way to affirm your worth is by practicing self-compassion. When life hurts, it's easy to be hard on ourselves. We might criticize ourselves for not handling things better, for feeling weak, or for making mistakes. But self-compassion is about treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a friend. It's about recognizing that you are human, that you are doing the best you can, and that you are deserving of love and care, especially in difficult moments. When you practice self-compassion, you affirm your worth by showing yourself the kindness and acceptance that you truly deserve. In the end, affirming your worth is about coming home to yourself. It's about remembering that your value is not determined by external factors, but by the simple truth that you are enough as you are. Even in the midst of pain, rejection, or failure, your worth remains intact. By affirming your worth, you reclaim your power and start living from a place of self-love, confidence, and inner peace. And when you know your worth, the world around you begins to reflect that truth back to you. You attract people, opportunities, and experiences that honor your value because you have learned to honor it within yourself. When life hurts, one of the most natural reactions is to search for someone or something to blame. Blame often feels like a way to make sense of our pain, as though assigning fault can somehow bring us relief. If we can point to a person, a circumstance, or even ourselves as the cause, it can seem like we have more control over the situation. But the truth is, holding on to blame doesn't ease our suffering. In fact, it deepens it. Releasing the need to blame, whether that blame is directed at others, at life, or at ourselves, is one of the most powerful steps we can take toward healing. Blame stems from the belief that someone or something must be held accountable for our pain. It's a way of externalizing our hurt, projecting it outward to avoid the discomfort of feeling powerless or vulnerable. Blame gives us a target, a way to explain why things went wrong. However, it also traps us in a cycle of resentment, anger, and frustration. Blame keeps us stuck in the past, reliving the hurt over and over again without moving forward. Instead of healing, we become consumed by the question, why did this happen to me, or whose fault is this? The need to blame often arises from our desire for justice or fairness. We believe that if we can assign blame, we can somehow make things right. But life is not always fair, and pain doesn't always have a clear cause. Sometimes things happen that are beyond our control, and trying to pin down blame only prolongs our suffering. Blame gives us the illusion of control, but it doesn't change the fact that pain is a part of life. Releasing blame is about accepting that some things are simply out of our hands, and that's okay. One of the first steps in releasing the need to blame is recognizing that blame keeps us tied to the very thing we want to move on from. When we blame someone else for our pain, we give that person power over us. We become emotionally tethered to them, replaying the situation in our minds, holding on to anger or bitterness. This emotional attachment keeps us stuck in a state of victimhood where we feel helpless and unable to move forward. By releasing blame, we reclaim our power. We acknowledge that while we can't always control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. Blame is not just directed at others. Often we turn it inward, blaming ourselves for what went wrong. This can be especially damaging as it reinforces feelings of shame, guilt, and inadequacy. We might think, if only I had done things differently, this wouldn't have happened. Or, I'm the reason things fell apart. This kind of self-blame is a form of self-punishment, where we internalize the belief that we are somehow flawed or deserving of the pain we're experiencing. But self-blame, like blaming others, is a trap. It doesn't change the past, and it doesn't help us heal. Releasing the need to blame ourselves means practicing self-compassion. It means recognizing that we are human, that we make mistakes, and that we are doing the best we can with the knowledge and tools we have at any given moment. Self-compassion allows us to forgive ourselves, to let go of the harsh judgments we hold against ourselves, and to accept that we are worthy of love and healing. When we release self-blame, we open the door to growth. Instead of being stuck in regret, we can learn from our experiences and move forward with greater awareness and self-acceptance. It's important to understand that releasing blame doesn't mean condoning harmful behavior or pretending that everything is okay. It's not about denying that someone may have wronged us or that we've been hurt. Instead, it's about choosing not to let that hurt define us. Blame keeps us focused on the past, but healing requires us to shift our focus to the present and the future. When we release blame, we free ourselves from the emotional chains that keep us tied to the pain, allowing us to begin the process of healing. Forgiveness is a powerful tool in releasing blame. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting what happened or excusing harmful actions. Rather, it's a choice to let go of the anger, resentment, and bitterness that keep us trapped. Forgiveness is not something we do for others, it's something we do for ourselves. It's a way of releasing the emotional burden we've been carrying, freeing ourselves from the weight of blame. When we forgive, we are saying, I choose peace over pain. I choose to let go of what no longer serves me. Forgiving ourselves can be just as important as forgiving others. Often we hold on to guilt and regret, replaying situations in our minds and wishing we had done things differently. But the past is the past, and no amount of blame, whether directed at ourselves or others, can change it. What we can do is learn from our experiences and use them as opportunities for growth. When we forgive ourselves, we release the need to punish ourselves for past mistakes. We acknowledge that we are worthy of love and healing, even when we've fallen short of our own expectations. Releasing the need to blame also involves accepting that life is unpredictable and that pain is an inevitable part of the human experience. Sometimes things happen that we can't explain or control. In those moments, it's easy to search for someone to blame, to try to make sense of the hurt. But accepting life's unpredictability allows us to let go of the need to assign fault. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me, we can shift our focus to, what can I learn from this, or how can I grow from this experience? This shift in perspective empowers us to move forward with resilience and grace. Blame, in its essence, is a form of resistance. It's a way of resisting the reality of what has happened, of trying to change the past through anger or resentment. But resistance only creates more suffering. By releasing blame, we stop resisting and start accepting. We accept that pain is a part of life, that people make mistakes, that things don't always go as planned. And in that acceptance, we find peace. We find the freedom to heal, to grow, and to move forward with an open heart. Ultimately, releasing the need to blame is about choosing love over fear, peace over resentment, and healing over hurt. It's about recognizing that holding on to blame keeps us stuck in the very pain we want to escape. When we let go of blame, we open ourselves to the possibility of healing, forgiveness, and growth. We reclaim our power and our peace, knowing that we are not defined by our pain, but by how we choose to rise above it. Embracing healing as a process is one of the most transformative and liberating things we can do, especially when faced with life's inevitable challenges and pains. In our fast-paced world, there is often an expectation for quick fixes, immediate results, and instant gratification. We want to feel better now, and when we don't, we can become frustrated, anxious, or even ashamed. However, healing is rarely a linear path. It is a journey often filled with ups and downs, twists and turns, and moments of both clarity and confusion. Understanding and accepting this process can be the key to finding genuine peace and recovery. When we think of healing, we might picture a destination, a place where we arrive and all our pain magically disappears. But the truth is, healing is more about the journey than the end result. It's an ongoing process that requires patience, self-compassion, and commitment. Just as physical wounds take time to mend, emotional wounds also require time and care. We need to allow ourselves to feel, process, and gradually release the pain. Embracing this concept helps us cultivate a healthy relationship with our emotions and ourselves. One of the first steps in embracing healing as a process is acknowledging that it's okay to feel pain. Pain is a natural part of life. It is a signal that something needs attention. When we experience emotional pain, whether from loss, heartbreak, or disappointment, it's easy to want to push it away or ignore it. However, allowing ourselves to sit with our feelings is essential for healing. It's in these moments of vulnerability that we begin to understand the depth of our experiences. By acknowledging our pain, we grant ourselves permission to heal. Self-compassion plays a crucial role in this healing process. Often we can be our own worst critics, especially when we're struggling. We might think, I should be over this by now, or why can't I just move on? These judgments can create a cycle of shame that hinders healing. Instead of pushing ourselves to heal faster, we can practice self-compassion by treating ourselves with the same kindness we would offer a friend in a similar situation. This means recognizing that it's okay to struggle and that healing takes time. By offering ourselves understanding and love, we create an environment in which healing can thrive. Embracing healing as a process also requires us to let go of the notion of perfection. Healing is messy and unpredictable. Some days we may feel empowered and hopeful, while other days may be marked by setbacks and tears. It's essential to accept that this is all part of the journey. Perfection is an unrealistic expectation, and striving for it only adds unnecessary pressure. Instead, we can embrace the idea that it's okay to have good days and bad days. Each moment is an opportunity to learn and grow, even when things don't go as planned. Another vital aspect of healing is understanding that it is often non-linear. There may be times when we feel like we are making significant progress, only to find ourselves revisiting old emotions or experiences we thought we had moved past. This is normal and doesn't mean we are regressing. Healing often involves revisiting old wounds, not as a sign of failure, but as part of the process. Each time we confront our pain, we gain new insights and perspectives. By embracing this non-linear nature of healing, we can approach our experiences with curiosity rather than fear. Mindfulness can be a powerful tool in this process of embracing healing. Mindfulness encourages us to be present with our emotions without judgment. When we practice mindfulness, we learn to observe our thoughts and feelings without getting caught up in them. This creates space between us and our pain, allowing us to process our emotions more effectively. Instead of becoming overwhelmed by negative feelings, mindfulness helps us approach them with curiosity and openness. This practice can help us develop resilience, enabling us to navigate the ups and downs of the healing journey with greater ease. It's also essential to remember that healing is not a solitary journey. While self-reflection and personal growth are vital, connecting with others can significantly enhance our healing process. Whether through friendships, support groups, or professional help, sharing our experiences can provide comfort and validation. Connecting with others who have faced similar struggles can foster a sense of community and belonging, reminding us that we are not alone in our pain. Vulnerability can be a powerful catalyst for healing, as it allows us to share our stories, learn from others, and receive support. As we navigate our healing journey, setting realistic goals can be beneficial. Rather than aiming for a specific endpoint, we can focus on small, achievable steps. This might include setting intentions for self-care, establishing healthy boundaries, or engaging in activities that bring us joy. By celebrating these small victories, we can cultivate a sense of progress and empowerment. Healing is a series of small steps, and each one brings us closer to feeling more whole. It's crucial to cultivate patience during this process. In a world that often demands quick results, it can be challenging to accept that healing takes time. Just as a flower needs time to bloom, so do we. Patience allows us to honor our individual journeys and understand that everyone heals at their own pace. By cultivating patience, we can approach our healing with gentleness and grace, recognizing that the journey itself is just as important as the destination. Another important aspect of embracing healing is letting go of the need to control the outcome. Often we find ourselves wishing for a specific resolution to our pain or hoping for things to turn out a certain way. However, clinging to expectations can lead to disappointment and frustration. Instead, we can practice surrendering to the process, trusting that healing unfolds in its own time and manner. By letting go of the need for control, we open ourselves up to new possibilities and outcomes we may not have initially considered. Finally, it's essential to celebrate our progress along the way. Healing is a significant undertaking, and recognizing the effort we put into it can be incredibly affirming. Whether it's acknowledging the courage it takes to face our emotions or celebrating the small steps we've made toward healing, taking time to appreciate our journey fosters a sense of accomplishment. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a testament to our resilience and strength. In conclusion, embracing healing as a process is a powerful approach to navigating life's challenges. It requires us to accept our pain, practice self-compassion, and let go of the need for perfection. By understanding that healing is not a linear journey, we can approach our emotions with curiosity and mindfulness. We can connect with others for support and set realistic goals that empower us. Most importantly, we can cultivate patience, surrender to the process, and celebrate our progress. Healing is not just about reaching a destination, it's about the journey of self-discovery and growth that transforms us along the way. By embracing this process, we can find deeper meaning, resilience, and peace within ourselves, ultimately leading to a richer and more fulfilling life. Trusting in the power of love is one of the most profound and transformative choices we can make in our lives, especially during times of pain and uncertainty. Love has the remarkable ability to heal wounds, foster resilience, and create connections that uplift us, even in the darkest of moments. Yet, in the face of hurt and disappointment, trusting in love can feel daunting. We may question its power, especially when we've experienced betrayal, loss, or heartbreak. However, embracing the transformative potential of love can lead us to a place of profound healing and renewal. At its core, love is an unconditional force that transcends circumstances and challenges. It is a deep connection that binds us to ourselves and to others. When we trust in love, we open our hearts to the possibility of healing, growth, and transformation. This does not mean we ignore our pain or pretend that everything is perfect. Instead, it invites us to lean into love as a source of strength and resilience, reminding us that we are never truly alone in our struggles. One of the most important aspects of trusting in the power of love is recognizing that love begins within. Before we can fully trust in love from others, we must cultivate self-love. Self-love is not merely a buzzword, it is the foundation of our emotional well-being. It is the practice of acknowledging our worthiness, treating ourselves with kindness, and embracing our flaws and imperfections. When we cultivate self-love, we create a strong inner reservoir of strength that allows us to face life's challenges with greater resilience. Trusting in the power of love begins with the belief that we are deserving of love, not just from others, but from ourselves. In moments of pain, it can be tempting to withdraw and isolate ourselves, believing that we are unworthy of love or that love has failed us. However, it's essential to remember that love is not contingent on external circumstances or the actions of others. Love is an inherent quality of our being. By embracing this truth, we can shift our perspective and begin to see love as a constant presence in our lives, even amidst turmoil. Trusting in love means recognizing that it is always available to us, even when it feels distant. One of the most beautiful aspects of love is its ability to heal. Love acts as a balm for our wounds, soothing our hearts and souls when we are hurting. When we trust in love, we create space for healing to occur. This might manifest as the love we receive from family and friends, or the love we cultivate through self-care practices and self-compassion. It is through love that we find solace in the company of others, the warmth of a hug, or the comfort of a kind word. Each expression of love, no matter how small, serves as a reminder that we are connected, supported, and never alone. Embracing the power of love also means being open to vulnerability. Vulnerability is often seen as a weakness, but in reality it is a profound strength. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we invite love into our lives in its purest form. This may mean sharing our fears and insecurities with a trusted friend, expressing our needs to a partner, or allowing ourselves to grieve openly when we've experienced loss. Vulnerability creates authentic connections and fosters deeper intimacy, reminding us that love flourishes in the presence of honesty and openness. Trusting in love also involves letting go of past hurts and disappointments. Holding on to resentment or bitterness can create barriers that block love from entering our lives. It's natural to feel anger or sadness when we've been hurt, but clinging to these emotions can keep us trapped in a cycle of pain. Forgiveness is a powerful act of love, not only for others, but for ourselves. By forgiving, we free ourselves from the weight of past grievances, allowing love to flow more freely into our lives. It's essential to remember that forgiveness does not mean condoning harmful behavior. Rather, it is a conscious choice to release the emotional burden that holds us back. Moreover, trusting in the power of love means recognizing that love can take many forms. While romantic love often receives the most attention, love exists in countless expressions: friendship, familial bonds, self-love, and compassion for others. Each of these forms of love contributes to our well-being and emotional resilience. By embracing the diverse ways love manifests in our lives, we can cultivate a rich tapestry of connections that uplift and support us. We must remain open to love in all its forms, allowing it to nourish our hearts and souls. In trusting love, we also learn to cultivate gratitude. Gratitude allows us to focus on the love we already have in our lives, rather than what we feel is lacking. By appreciating the love we receive from others, we shift our perspective from scarcity to abundance. Practicing gratitude helps us recognize the many ways love shows up in our lives through small acts of kindness, shared laughter, or moments of connection. When we embrace gratitude, we become more attuned to the beauty and richness of love, enhancing our capacity to trust in its power. Trusting in love also invites us to develop resilience. Life will inevitably bring challenges, heartbreaks, and disappointments. However, when we trust in the power of love, we find the strength to navigate these hardships. Love gives us a reason to keep moving forward, to seek joy even amidst pain, and to believe in the possibility of brighter days ahead. This resilience is not just about enduring challenges, but about thriving in the face of adversity. Love fuels our hope, inspiring us to rise again when we fall, and to believe in the goodness of life. Ultimately, trusting in the power of love is a choice, a conscious decision to open our hearts and allow love to guide us. It is about letting go of fear, doubt, and past hurts, and embracing the belief that love is a force for healing and connection. As we navigate life's ups and downs, we can choose to lean into love, recognizing its transformative potential in our lives. In conclusion, trusting in the power of love is an essential aspect of our emotional well-being. It begins with self-love, allowing us to cultivate the resilience needed to face challenges. Love is a healing force that soothes our wounds, and vulnerability opens us to deeper connections. By releasing past hurts and embracing gratitude, we enhance our capacity to trust in love's abundance. Ultimately, love empowers us to navigate life's journey with hope, strength, and grace. When we trust in love, we unlock the potential for profound healing, transformation, and connection that enriches our lives and the lives of those around us.